Hi, welcome to string methods. This covers how we could start using the string method documentation and a little bit about how strings work. So remember, strings are objects, so they don't actually really behave exactly like you'd expect. We'll get more into objects in 4, but they work differently than primitives like int and so on that we've been using previously. So they're sequences of characters, so strings are made up of individual characters in some way. We'll see when we get to the string constructor in 4 again, but you could say a 5-character string has indexes 0 to 4. 6-character has 0 to 5, so on and so forth. Starts at 0, ends at 4. A lot of things in computer science are numbered 0 to 4. Again, they're objects, not primitives. They're capitalized S. And since they're objects and not primitives, we can't compare them with the double equals. We have to use the dot equals method. So this is how we use object methods. We'll, again, get to this more in Unit 4, but you will have our first object, which is some string, dot equals the string you're going to check it against in string 2. So, side note, documentation. I've been posting a few of them on Canvas, so maybe come and take a look at them. Let's take a look at the string methods page, which they're linking here. So, this is the string methods page on CodeHS, and it returns or reveals a decent amount. Returns whatever it is, and it's a lot simpler than the documentation on the actual Java main page. So this is the one they link. We're on the next version of it, which I think I've also linked. Maybe I've crossed my links up. Doesn't matter too much. Let's take a look. So here's all the methods that we can use. There's char@, code point at, which is the Unicode version. If a string is empty, here's the type it returns. Here's the what it does. We don't actually know what goes on inside of it. We can click it for a little bit more information, but we don't actually know the code behind it that's driving it. This is encapsulation. We don't really need to know all these different things to use them. We just know what they take in, what they return, and that'll be good enough. There's plenty on here. We'll likely use length. We could probably use index of at some point. Dot equals we've already used. You can do dot equals ignore case to ignore case, and so on and so forth. Let's see what we get to, and maybe we'll take a peek back at the page as we use them. This one is a little bit easier to read because it's smaller, bigger font, so on and so forth. Again, they're right here. I'll get the string methods page fixed next post. It's the reference for how to use different methods and classes, so it tells you what they put in. You could just Google Java method or class that you're using, and you'll get that. So again, here's a few more. We'll probably use these all from 3.5 to 3.8. Char@'s a weird one. It returns a car, so it'll be weird to kind of deal with that, but we'll just have to experiment and get the right answer. Char@ tells you first one there, but it returns a character. Substring will tell you from 0 to the one before the last character. So this is ooh. Oh no, it does include the last one, so this is good. 0 to 4. 0, 1, 2, 3. Doesn't include the space. 0 to 1, 2, 3 is 4 characters. Inclusive, exclusive. Feels kind of weird to mix them up, but hey. When you make a string, it doesn't change it. It's kind of like encapsulated elsewhere. Don't worry too much about pointers and stuff right now. This is a pretty simple way to loop over a string, and I think I've pointed this out in class. From I to the length, because 1 less than length is the end of the indexes. Increase 1, and that'll just print out each letter one by one. Nice way to bug check as you're going through your code. You can print out what one you're working with, make it the one you expect it to be. The Java Spring presentation is a few extra slides. Here's some concatenation tips. Again, this is from the last one, and how to use substring. In this case, it's phrase more methods, but hey, they're copy and pastable now. Might make that easier to use for you. To uppercase, to lowercase, that's another one. I think this is an even older one. This is 6. Obviously, there's 6, 7, 8. Depends on what version of Java you're using. You can actually just increment this. Didn't get us to 8. Don't worry too much about the documentation. You'll figure that out as you're Googling it. A lot of stuff we need to learn by experimenting, but here we'll get the code for ourselves. I think this is the example here. Yeah. So this should print out the length of the string, and then it'll print out one letter at a time. Boom. Prints each character. What if we did this? Can't use that on a character. Don't worry too much. We'll get to that later. Just wanted to experiment a bit. Okay, so let's go through these. These can all pretty much be written as one-liners. Here's our hint. You can use two uppercase. So we're passing the variable text. We're going to return a string. We're going to return text dot two uppercase. Watch that. Ooh, copy, paste. Brilliant. Two periods, not so brilliant. No semicolon, even worse. Few errors. A simple typo. S is next to X. I'm already yelling. Porky Pig. Well, that's a reference not many people will get. Porky Pig is a cartoon character with a stutter, and, well, the Looney Tunes weren't exactly politically correct. Quite an old cartoon. So, we just have to take some text, turn it into what Porky Pig would say. So, what do? We concatenate or join two strings. We're going to join something, because that's what we're being passed. And we'll return, what's the pig text? Oink oink, over here. And let's check it. Easy. That's all, folks, is his common catchphrase. Triple string. So we take one string and we return it 3 times. We don't put any spaces between it or anything. We just return it 3 times. So how do you concatenate strings once again? Join them. We're past string, so we're returning string, string, string. Full name. So let's check the assignment for this. We're given the first and last name and we want to return it as one string with a space. So now we do need to add the space. We're passed in first. We're going to add a space. The dreaded plus, plus, plus. Oops, I turned on insert mode. And that should do it. I guess another... Huh? What did I do wrong? First, plus... Oh, I just want a space. I don't want a plus. How silly. Another way you can do it is making sure each one is uppercase by, like, stripping off the first letter, making that uppercase, joining it back on. But that's a lot of work, and we're not going to do that because we don't need to. This is first and last again, but with just the first and last letter. So we're going to have to loop through the string, only take the first and last one. Actually, we don't even need a loop for it if you really think about it. We have return. We're going to return a string, so we need to make sure it's a string and not a char. Plus, or pass string. We have the char at, which they showed us at the start in the slides. We're going to return the first. And we're going to return the last. How do we know the last? Well, if there's the length of the string, so we'll take the length. But remember, that's one too many, so we'll chop it off. So this is how you should do it, how it should look. But just to make it a little bit more clear what's going on in here, I'm going to increase my spaces. So we have the string.char at, same as we did before. There's its open and close. In here we're doing another method which has its return of the string's length. Another dot commentary, or the dot structure, object dot method, and then we're subtracting 1. That's in the parentheses, the other one. So just wanted to blow that up, make it a little bit more clear. Come on, CodeHS, you can do it. There we go. Okay, this one I think wants us to repeat a string as many times as we submit. So we're given a string, we're given the times to submit. So why do we do that? Sounds like a loop. Oh, we're going to have a return. We're going to call it result. That's really like where I like to store my results in the result variable, and it's a string. An empty one. Okay, so here's what I'm returning. Here's what I'm doing. Nothing yet. And here's the returning. How do we do it? We're going to do a loop. We know how to repeat a string. Isn't it nice to build the structure first? It's I equals 0. That's an I is less than n, because we're going to do n number of times. So 0 to n is 0 to 1 before n is n number of times. I plus plus. I'm going to take results. I'm going to add to it the string that were passed in. String that were passed in. It's highlighted down here too. We're good to go. Code tracing handout. Recall we did that in class. We're going to do a lot of code tracing in a little while, so I won't review that one here. And that's kind of the end of 3.5.